Hi, I wanted to do a short video today to talk about a couple things about sleep, just to put in perspective for you how important sleep is to your overall health and some of the things that happen when you sleep and what happens when you don't sleep. So, first thing I want to talk about is 3 reasons why sleep is so important. First is that sleep prevents dementia. Just saw a patient here in my office whose primary concern is some brain fog, cognitive issues, forgetting names, forgetting where objects are, losing her train of thought. And her concern was, is this my hormones? And it turns out it's not, it's probably something else. Well, one of the factors in her case, and I see this a lot, is people that don't sleep well. So researchers on sleep have shown that the vast majority of us need at least 6 hours of sleep every night for our brains to function well. And optimal is probably 7 or 8 for most people, but there are some people who actually even need 9 hours of sleep. So the reason why this is so important is because when you sleep, your brain resets. So do you ever have that where your computer is getting locked up and it's not working and it's not doing what it's supposed to do and your stress levels go up through the roof? What does tech support usually tell you? Have you tried rebooting it? Same thing is true for your brain. And we've all had that experience where you have a very stressful day, nothing seems like it's going right, you're having problems all day long, and you're just frazzled by the end of the day. Well, go to bed early, get a good night's sleep, and then oftentimes you're refreshed the next day. What happens long term, though, is that if you have chronic sleep deprivation, your brain neurons just are not connecting one to the other at the way that they should, and over time that can lead to dementia. So poor sleep over the years is a significant risk factor for dementia. And seeing as how that's one of the things that most of us get concerned about and want to avoid as we get older, make sure that you're getting enough sleep when you're younger so that that is not a factor when you get older. Second thing that happens is detoxification. So when you sleep, your entire body detoxifies. Part of it is because you're not eating, and part of it is because there's no sensory input. Your brain is processing those memories and experiences that happen during the day. So a couple of things happen. First of all, your liver is able to focus on detoxing and pulling toxins out of your system and excreting them. But the other cool thing that happens is that your brain actually detoxes. And this is fascinating. So there's a part of the lymphatic system that affects the brain. And the lymphatics are all throughout your body. Lymphatics are slow-moving channels of fluid where there are things that are detoxified. It's not veins, but it's closely correlated with those blood vessels. And people that have slow lymphatic drainage tend to have fluid retention. But there's a cool system in your brain. It's called the glymphatics, G-L-Y, glymphatics. So you have your blood vessels, but then right next to the blood vessel is this lymphatic channel that drains fluid. Well, when you sleep, those blood vessels constrict just a little bit, and the channels for the lymph flow, they're bigger on either side of that blood vessel. So when you're in deep sleep, those channels for drainage of toxins from your brain open up. And so your brain drains those toxins out while you sleep. Again, the result is you wake up in the morning, you feel well rested, ready for the next day. So that's the other thing that happens when you sleep. Third thing that really happens that a lot of people don't realize, when you sleep, because of that resetting of all of your systems, it allows you to lose weight. So if you're overweight and you're trying to lose weight, one of the worst things you can do is just feel like, you're just staying up all night long, or I'm just going to keep busy, because lack of sleep has been well established as a risk factor for slowing down your metabolism and preventing you from being able to lose weight. I've had patients over the years who have done everything right. They eat a low calorie diet, it's well balanced, plenty of protein, not a lot of carbs, they're eating organic, all this stuff. The diet looks great, they're working out, exercising, doing strength training, some cardio, and their weight will not budge. And for some of them, the issue is stress, but for some of them, it's lack of a consistent restorative sleep schedule. So those are things that you need to be aware of that can happen when you're not getting enough sleep, but if you can fix your sleep, you can get all those benefits. 3 supplements I just wanted to mention for sleep that a lot of people don't really think about. Everybody thinks about melatonin. First is L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid that has a calming effect on the brain. And what it does is it takes your brain when you're kind of scattered and thinking about a million things at once, and it helps your brain focus. So if you ever had that experience of laying awake in bed at night, or if you wake up at 2 in the morning and you wake up and you suddenly start thinking about that report that you forgot to do, or you got to get the oil changed in the car, or what am I going to do about, this situation or that situation, when your brain is thinking all those racing thoughts and you feel like you can't control it, L-theanine helps reduce those. It gives your brain a sense of calm focus. So L-theanine is a common ingredient in a number of sleep supplements because it helps your brain ratchet down and it helps prevent those racing thoughts that can disrupt sleep. Second supplement is GABA, and GABA is a supplement that's a bit controversial because there's some data indicating that when you take it orally, it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier and get into the brain. But anecdotally, I've had people who've taken supplements with GABA in it and they say that it works. It's essentially harmless in these supplements, but GABA is calming to the nervous system. And then the third one a lot of people are aware of is magnesium. Magnesium threonate is the form that's become pretty popular because it really does have a strong ability to get across that blood-brain barrier and get into the brain. And in doing so, magnesium is calming to the brain. So those are some ingredients that you're going to want to look for in sleep supplements that you may be trying. 3 lifestyle habits for better sleep. You probably know these things, but I just want to remind you of these real quickly. First, daily exercise. Optimally, it should be at least 4 hours before you go to bed, because when you work out, it raises cortisols, and cortisol is stimulatory to the brain because cortisol thinks, ooh, there's stress. We have to handle this now. So if you're going to go work out at the gym after dinner at say 7 or 8 p.m., your body is probably going to have a lot of cortisol, which can be stimulatory to your brain, and it makes it a little bit harder to go to sleep. So optimally exercise every day, but at least 4 hours before going to bed. Second thing is unplug. Get rid of the blue light and the devices and the TV at night. If you're having trouble unwinding and going to sleep, don't sit on your bed playing games on your iPad. It's just not good for you. Don't watch TV. Unplug from the devices, and honestly, there's even something to be said for maybe the EMFs that come from these things, because EMFs for some people can affect your brain health, and for some people it prevents you from falling asleep. So unplug, put on some music, read a book. I know it's old school, but anything that you can do that is calming and is not electronic is going to enhance your ability to go to sleep. And then the third thing, again, we all know this, but keep the bedroom cool. 67 to 68 degrees is probably optimal. For those of us that live in the south, it does mean that we have to cool the bedroom down, cranking that air conditioning up a little stronger. A little bit of money, but it's worth it. So if you can keep the bedroom cool, have some airflow going with a little bit heavier of a blanket, not just something really light, because that weight on your body oftentimes enhances sleep. So even if your partner complains saying it's too cold in here, put an extra blanket on. So all of those things can help you get a better night's sleep. So overall, if you're having trouble with sleep, just continue to figure out what else can I do better, what else can I change, experiment with different supplements, because it is really crucial that you get at minimum 6 hours, but preferably 7 to 8 hours of good restorative sleep every night, and then your overall health is going to be better. So I hope this helps, and here's to your journey to better sleep.